I want to welcome you to my Math 309 course, and I would like to do a course tour of the website because there's a lot of information on it. When you log into the Blackboard site for the course, you're going to be dumped into this welcome screen, which has a copy of the cover of our textbook, as well as a welcome message from me and the link to the course tour, which you're currently watching. It also has links to several of the most important folders that you'll be dealing with over the course of the semester. I do want to point out that the Start Here folder is where you really need to start. This folder contains a series of activities that I want you to complete as soon as possible, certainly no later than Tuesday, February the 1st. And it includes watching the course tour, reading the syllabus, taking a quiz on the syllabus, sending me an email, and then finally doing a homework where you're being taught how I want you to turn in any kind of written assignment, including the three major problem sets that you'll be doing over the course of the semester. Instead of collecting papers in class, I will be wanting you to scan your work and turn it in through Blackboard Dropboxes. And so that's what that particular assignment is all about. Coming back to the welcome page, if you ever get lost, you can always click on this welcome button up here and you'll kind of get back to the start. The main content of the course that you'll be most interested in dealing with on a daily basis are in the Get Ready for Class, in-class activities, and daily homework folders, which are available on the welcome screen, but they're also available on the main course menu. And when we get to them on the main course menu, we'll talk about them there. I now want to look at the main course menu, which is unfortunately longer than I would like it to be, but it's got a lot of stuff on it. I have chunked it so hopefully it will be easier to navigate. The first chunk of stuff is information about the course. It includes a link for information about my office and my office hours, a link for the syllabus, a link for course policies, a link on prerequisite material. This gives you access to material to review anything that we might need from Math 270. There are a bunch of links to Khan Academy videos there, which may be useful to you. And then I also have this thing that I've called Connections Between Math 309 and Other Upper Division Math Courses. And the reason I have this is that a lot of math majors and math minors tend to think about their upper division math courses in isolation. And it's important to realize that the courses that you take to complete your degree actually are related to each other. And so this link contains several things that you might look for in courses that you are either taking or will take or may have already taken. The next chunk of the menu is the course assignments. And you'll notice that it starts with a link to the due dates for the tests in the three major problem sets. And then there's a link for the Get Ready for Class, the in-class activities, and the daily homework folders. And finally, there's links to the problem sets themselves, the discussion forum, which will play a small role in this class, and links for where eventually things like review materials for the midterm and final exam will be. I do encourage you to click around on all of these links and poke around and see what's there. But I do want to talk a little bit about the Get Ready for Class, in-class, and daily homework folders. Essentially, each day the class meets, there will be three associated folders: a Get Ready for Class folder, an In-Class Activities folder, and a Daily Homework folder. The Get Ready for Class folders, you can see that there's already the first week of them are available. Typically, they will include reading assignments. The reading assignments may also ask you to do some of what are called reading questions from the text on paper and bring those to class with you, mainly for your own use, so that because the class discussion is going to revolve around those reading questions a lot of the time. So it's important to do the reading assignments before you come to class. If we look at the in-class activities, you will get a folder every day, and these will typically appear right after the class is over. And they will appear sometimes shortly after the class is over because they will always contain a synopsis of what we discussed, and then also links to any material that was handed out in class. The daily homework folders, and again, there will be one daily homework folder for each class day, and it will appear just as class is getting over. They include the homework. Typically, there will be possibly a follow-up reading assignment and practice problems, and there will always be keys to whatever reading questions we have discussed and the keys to the problems that I'm assigning as practice problems. Our text has a few answers in the back of the book, but with the nature of the problems that we're doing, the answers in the back of the book are not very they're not very student friendly. They sometimes give the author sometimes gives cryptic hints, but he never gives a really full solution. And some of the questions that we'll be looking at are kind of detailed and take a while to actually write out. And the answer keys, I've handwritten them so that you can get an idea of what kind of things I'm looking for on in any of your written homework, in particular on the problem sets. So those are the three main folders. The problem set area will have information about policies concerning the problem sets, which you really do need to read. And the first problem set will technically be assigned at the end of this week, but I've gone ahead and let you see what it is. And there up here where the due dates are. And so you should play around with that. The class materials chunk of the menu includes information about the textbook, which you do need to buy. I have put chapter 1 online so that if you're waiting for financial aid before you buy your book, you still have access to the materials. And there is also a link to the Buffalo State online copy. You do have to log in to see that, however. And I want you to have your own copy so that you can mark it up, so that you can flip back and forth instead of trying to scroll through an electronic copy. But this is a useful thing if you happen to need to look up a page and you don't happen to have your textbook with you, wherever you happen to be working on problems. So that's why it's there. The other thing on this class materials link, I do have a link for Mathematica. Mathematica is not something that you're going to be required to use, but it does help make getting the final answers to things more satisfying. So I've given you access to a notebook that I've written to introduce you to some of the useful commands for doing combinatorics in Mathematica, as well as instructions on how to obtain a copy of Mathematica if you have not already gotten one through taking calculus classes. If it's been a while since you've worked with Mathematica, you will probably need to reactivate your license because they're only good for 1 year. So try to follow these instructions, and on Monday you'll see why I think that Mathematica is a useful tool to have. Also under the course materials, there will be links to the keys to the reading questions from the book that will be organized by chapter. There will be keys to all of the practice problems that I assign, again, linked by the chapters that we will be covering. And there will be keys to the problem sets once I have graded and returned a problem set to you. Finally, there's a chunk here on communication and grades. Obviously, my grades is there, announcements is there. Usually when I make an announcement, I also email it to the class, but if you've missed an announcement, you can always click there and you can see that there's already an announcement that the course is live, some information about the textbook, and some information about how to do some review of some of the most basic material from Math 270. Finally, if you need to get in touch with me, I strongly prefer email. And if you click the send an email link and you then do all instructor users, you get to something that will go to my Buffalo State email account without having to go into your own mail tool. However, if you prefer to use your own mail tool, that's also fine, but do send it to my work account. So let's back up. And the final bit of the main course menu are just links to campus resources and campus policies. This miscellaneous content is really more for me. It's an organizational thing that I'm using, and you'll never need to deal with it. So at this point, I think that we can say that we've completed the course tour.